Hey there, Fletcher All Things Overlanding here, and today I wanted to talk on this episode of the podcast about the overlanding community. A friend of mine who's been in some of my videos actually recently passed away, unfortunately at a very young age, and it really made me think. I went to his funeral, and it was really amazing to see just the number of people that were there that I knew from overlanding, that he knew from overlanding. That's how we got to know each other. It reminded me of all the adventures that we had and all that stuff. And like, our time is short, right? So like, having a strong community, having a bunch of people to rally around you when something tragic happens, or, when you're having a tough time, like when I had my heart stuff not too long ago, I got a lot of emails, messages from people saying, hope you're doing well, blah, 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 blah. And it's just been fantastic. So I wanted to talk a little bit in this episode about the importance of that community, about what I think the overlanding community is and kind of where it is going. So if you want to hear more about that, definitely stay tuned. This should be a fun one. All right, guys, so as I mentioned in the intro, today I'm talking about the importance of community in the overlanding world, right? Speaking of community, my buddy Brady just pulled up to camp, so you may hear a truck running in the background, but we're going to be camping out this weekend, and there's going to be 3 of us, so it's going to be a good time. But again, wanted to talk a little bit about community. Yeah, going back to my buddy that passed away recently, he was extremely young. It was a big tragedy that he passed away, fought with cancer a couple times in his life. But as a result of, those challenges and stuff, like, I think it made him more outgoing. That kind of is what got him into overlanding. I met him randomly through an event that was through one of our local Facebook group pages. And I just liked the kid, like, immediately, right? And then the more that he went out, he got really into it. He was building a trailer. He had a 80 series Land Cruiser. And it was just neat to see this kid get so passionate about it, the thing that I'm passionate about, right? And as a matter of fact, the guys that are here right now, camping with me, I met them kind of through this guy too. So like, when you get to meet people that are into the hobby that you're into, and you get to talk about things that you're passionate about, it builds relationships, right? It opens you up to people that you otherwise may not have ever met. In going to his funeral here recently, it was really, really neat to see, like, the percentage of people that were there that knew him from overlanding, that knew him from car stuff, right? He was a Subaru guy. He was into a bunch of Land Cruiser stuff and overlanding in general. And it's just cool to go there and you see some older folks, right? Like parents, friends, and people that knew him from when he was a kid. And then the majority of the people there, though, were overlanders. They were people that had kind of met him through the hobby. And I just thought it was really cool to see that community come together. And, that is one of the coolest things, in my opinion, about the overlanding community, is just that it's very similar to me to the car community, right? Like, I'm a big car guy. I love car stuff, any make, model, brand. Of course, I like Nissans, but I also respect and like other builds, right? I like Corvettes. I like Mustangs. I like, pretty much anything car related, old classic cars, rat rods. I like it all. So when you go to car shows and stuff, you get to know people, you get to meet people, you get to see things that you love, you get to see things that other people are passionate about and they love. You get to kind of share, hey, here's what I did on this, here's what I did to make this unique, here's what I did to make it my own. And I think that's what has always resonated with me about overlanding, is the fact that, I don't ever want to have a Nissan Frontier that's exactly like everyone else's truck. You can go to a store and you can buy a vehicle. You can go to a store and you can buy gear and you can slap it on a truck. But I think being able to personalize it, being able to make it your own, is one of the things that makes overlanding so cool. And then, tying it back into this community piece too, being able to then share that with other people in the community and have them respect and understand, like, wow, yeah, that's really cool that you did that. Or, oh, I saw that trip that you did. How was that? How was Wyoming, right? How did that go? How did your modifications hold up? How did your bed rack do, right? How was the tent? And you get to talk to these people and talk about the things that you love and that you're passionate about. Back when I had my heart stuff 5 or 6 months ago too, it was amazing to see the responses from people that I never met, like people on the internet and stuff, sending me messages, sending me notes. Very much appreciated, by the way. Thank you, everybody, that did that. Obviously fine, everything came out fine, but you never know, right? Life is short. So that's another thing, is if you're going to surround yourself with people that are into what you're into, right? Like, there are a lot of guys that are into sports, and they surround themselves with people that are into sports. I personally don't give a crap about sports, if I'm being honest. I'd rather talk about horsepower. I'd rather talk about racing. I'd rather talk about overlanding and off-roading and camping. Talk about gear, talk about my camper that I've got coming for this thing, which you'll hear a lot on this channel because it's kind of the new hotness. But, again, finding that community, finding those people that can share that passion, that love for what you do with you is important. So, when I go camping with my buddies, a lot of the times we will talk about how the bonds that you form when you are out camping together or overlanding are so strong. And there are a few reasons for that. And I think a lot of it has to do with sort of the stresses that you go through when you're on an overlanding trip or a wheeling trip. It kind of depends, but they're both similar, right? There was a time not too long ago when I had first gotten my new truck. And we actually were in a place that we thought was really, really tame. And I ended up in a mud pit where, the vehicle started out, it's got a yaw sensor on it, so I could see the degrees of off-camberness that I was experiencing. It started at maybe like 11 degrees of camber. And then it was 17, and then it was 22, and then it was 30. And then I, couldn't get out of the truck because I was so leaned over. And, I'm relying on these two buddies that are with me to help me save my $45,000, $50,000 truck, right? Like it was at that point where it was a very dangerous situation where someone could have gotten hurt, and or more my worry was I could have damaged my truck or flopped it over and caused serious damage. And in those sort of situations, when you're in that kind of stress and you have to work together, it's almost like military-esque, right? Like we're all trying to stay calm and cool and talk to each other and think about the gear that we've got and think about our experience with recovering vehicles, and then kind of just working together across radio and yelling out the window and stuff to make sure that we get everybody out. And when you do that kind of stuff, when you spend that kind of time together and you experience things like, really serious, sketchy recoveries, it builds that strength and that relationship and the friendships that you make from that. So totally different from, no offense to folks that watch sports and stuff, but sitting around and watching a ball game, watching other people play a sport is fun, right? Like it's fine. But out here, I think everybody thinks that we just come out and we just set up our trucks and we just sit around a fire and drink bourbon. And that does happen sometimes. But a lot of the times, especially when you're on more crazy trips, especially to other states and things like that, there are going to be times when you're going to hit some sketchy stuff. You're going to hit some areas where you're not comfortable, or maybe you've never been before, or you get really off camber, or you get into a tricky situation where you might have some body damage to your truck. And again, you're relying on the people in your group to help get you through that with minimal to no damage if possible, and 100% safety. Another thing that's a little bit unique about the world of overlanding and kind of how people get into it is, you have to like to drive. Like the whole point of overlanding is to explore and travel and go to places that you've never been. And especially being in the Midwest, we're not near anything here, right? So if I want to go even just to Michigan or Wisconsin, you're talking minimum 6 hours up to 10 or 11 hours. Missouri, 10 hours away. Virginia, 10 hours away. Even Kentucky, which is probably the closest thing to me with some actual trails and wheeling, 5 to 7 hours, depending on where you're going. So you've got to be comfortable spending a lot of time behind the wheel. And as a result of that, though, too, similar to the recovery stuff and the bonds that builds, because you're typically with other people. Now, there are a lot of people that go solo. I've gone solo quite a bit. I do enjoy solo in some regards. But then when you're with friends, especially going out of state and going farther away, it's a little safer from a recovery standpoint to have friends with you. You learn a lot about those people. You're going to spend a lot of time on the radio. You're going to spend a lot of time, hours and hours where you have to stay focused on the road, but you can still talk to each other. So like my GMRS radio, my Midland radios in my truck get a lot of use on these long trips. And as you're talking to these people, again, you get to know them, super deep. You get to know everything about them, their pets, their spouses. You get to be really, really good friends. Whereas, other people that you spend time in passing with, you just don't get to know them as well. So when you're spending all this time, a good example, when I went to Wyoming a few years ago, I went with a bunch of people that I knew a little bit, but I'd never really met. And we became friends on that trip, right? We got to know each other a bunch. Our chef cut his hand and had to go to the hospital, and we're all trying to help him out and trying to get him back to us once he got done at the hospital and got his hand fixed. We all, came to really care about each other and became friends from that trip. And that's not something you can say for, going on vacation to Florida, right? Or again, going and watching a game, like you're sitting there watching a game or sport or something, but you're not exactly like developing lifelong bonds. And that's what's cool about overlanding, I think, is because of all that time, because of all the stress that can come with the trips that you take and the wheeling portion of it, it just really strengthens those relationships and makes it a much deeper bond between people that spend time doing that thing. All right, guys, so that will do it for this short episode of the podcast. Again, just wanted to touch on that a little bit because I've been thinking about it since my buddy passed away and since my heart stuff. And, again, coming down here and spending time with my buddies this weekend has got me thinking a lot about the overlanding community and how cool it is and why I think a lot of people can't put it into words what makes it special. But once you've experienced it, then you really get it. So, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope that was an interesting topic for you guys. As always, in the description below will be links to all my other social media channels. So wherever you want to come follow along, I'd love to have you. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be a join button below this video, which is just sort of a passive way to support the channel, get you early access to the videos and some other perks. If you want to be more involved with all things overlanding, though, there is a link to my Patreon group, and we've got about 25, 30 guys in there now. It's growing every day, and it's a lot of fun. We have a 24/7 Discord where we chat and share memes and jokes and things. We do a once-a-month Zoom call, and we're getting together in person a couple times a year, which has been a lot of fun. So if that sounds good, check that out. Then there's a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding, camping-themed patches and stickers, things like "Don't burn your wiener" and "It's a hot dog," or "I hate people so I camp." So if you want to get some patches for your headliner or pick up some stickers for your fridge or your windows, definitely check those out. And of course, last but not least, there is a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group. Now, this group is totally free to join, over 30,000 people at the time I'm recording this. And different from the big groups, we don't allow bullying or a bunch of self-promotion, so it's a much more clean experience. And if you're looking to get help or give help to people getting into overlanding, if you want to build the community, that's a good place to do it, and we'd love to have you. But again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for listening. Leave a 5-star review on the podcast, drop a like on the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.